So, welcome to another I Quit My Job podcast where we dive into the real stories, bold decisions, career transformations, and the personal evolution. Today's episode is about basketball, commitment to basketball, business of basketball, and then the heart behind basketball in this episode. We're also going to speak to a gentleman, Mark Wharton. He is a finance supply chain professional. He's also a member of the Brampton Warriors. He coaches, not just a member. He also has sons that are playing in this elite levels. We're going to speak about the commitment, what it takes to have, as I said, a professional career. And then we're going to speak about the risk and rewards of basketball in terms of how it's now a business, the sacrifices that you have to make. Without any further delay, I want to introduce you to Mark. Thank you so much, brother, for coming here and just speaking with me, man. I think it's amazing, Thank you so much, man.
I know you've been starting your podcast thing. Like for me, you're the phoenix slowly. You go different ways. You're down, you're up, but you always rise. And enough respect to you. And I
Respect back, man.
appreciate the opportunity to come and speak about my life and my journey. We met in school and we've been brethren ever since.
So with all of that, man, you're you're talking about a long way, and you also a coach, man, and you made that jump. Take us to that moment. What made you decide to kind of juggle both careers? And then you have your son playing at elite levels. Was it because you wanted to get your son some activities? How did that start, and how did you jump into coaching like that?
Well, it actually started during when we met in school. Avery Brown, who was actually my coach and mentor, and one of my bedrooms, we all met. We used to play in the rack. We loved ball. And then he started coaching maybe a year or so before. And then he said, "Yo, Mark, when you come out, and we go coach in the Brampton House League, right?" This was when we were still going to school. So
Right.
oh,
yeah?
yeah, it was on the weekends. So we were living downtown at that time. So we would go on the weekends to Sheridan College in Brampton. And we coached the house league there. And once I started coaching, things just came naturally to me, like being a leader and the mindset I have and being a teacher. And once I cut the bug, I think we did it for a year. But then once I finished university, then things got serious, because anything I do, family life, anything off the floor, you want to be the best of what you want to do, right? So once I cut the bug of going into a game and being with your lines or your soldiers or your team and competition, I love to compete.
Oh,
Right,
nice.
so that's the thing that drew me, like competing. Once I was on the sidelines for the first time, I just cut a bug and I liked it.
But before that, you're balancing this career now. You're balancing this career of dad, coaching at an organization. Was there any moment or any time you're like, yo, this ain't it for me, man. Like, I'm done with this. Or did it motivate you to continue to finish your course?
It's not easy. Our family life is on and off the floor is the same thing. We have certain characteristics that we want to live by.
Right.
One of the things is mediocrity is not an option for us. Once I decided that, okay, I want to coach, and I started coaching before any of my sons were born, right?
Right.
So then it's about research, looking at videos, looking at tapes, going online, getting drills, because you want to be the best.
Right.
I want to be the best coach I can be, because I want the kids that I want to coach. I want us to reach a high level. Then you have the family life where you start having kids. Then you have the work life, right? Where you want to do well at work so I can show my kids and my family a good life. There's certain time that came where it did become too much, right?
Okay.
And I have to take a break. But in the end, the love always comes back. Having a family that buys in, I know my wife, having her on board and having her support, without that, it couldn't be done.
Oh, that's amazing.
Family comes first over everything else. But for you to do something on the side, it's volunteer stuff. You're not getting paid money.
Right.
So for you to do that and be away from your family sometimes, right? But once my kids were born and they got into it, right? Then I was with them, coaching their teams, and we were all together. And that's what I'm saying, when it comes to family, it has to be, everybody's got to be bought in.
Nice. So that with that family approach, and you said now your sons are playing.
Yeah.
So now you're coaching, juggling this career now as a coach. What was that like now, being your very first day? Was it walking into the gym? Like, what was that moment when you were like, I'm a coach now for Brampton, here it is. What was that first day like?
I coached as Avery's assistant for 3 or 4 years before I became comfortable to be on my own. So I think the turning point is probably the first game where I was the head coach.
Yes.
Right? And I had to make decisions offensively, defensively. So once that happened, as I said, 3 or 4 years, I was Avery's assistant, and we needed a novice coach. And Avery said, "Yo, Mark, you got to do it." I wasn't comfortable, to tell you the truth, right? And I told him, he goes, "Well, we have no other choice. You got to do it." So once that happens, and then I started, you can't go on the sidelines and you have certain expectations of yourself. You have certain expectations of your players. They have certain expectations of you. I'm not about, as I said, mediocrity. So It's about putting in the time and getting your kids ready to go battle.
Did your son play on this team that you're on?
Yeah, all my sons.
You're mentoring your sons at home and also on the court. But what about the other kids? How did all that mix in?
The way I coach, I treat all the boys that I coach, I treat
Right.
them like they're my sons. The dynamic there with regards to accountability, perseverance, hard work, all those expectations went hand in hand. For me, it was easy. What's difficult is the separation of being a father and a coach. Sometimes you have that line there that you want to be tough on him. Then his mom is telling you you're too tough on him,
Right.
but you want him to be the best. He wants
Right.
to be the best. At certain times, it was a strain. And being the son or a daughter of a coach is not easy.
So the drive homes were interesting.
Some of the drive homes were there were some choice words put there, right? But the end, for me, the ends justify the means. You understand?
Right.
So
right.
you told me you want to be the best, so I'm gonna push you to be the best. I love my youth to death, right?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna do anything for them, but I'm also gonna prepare them for life.
Right.
That's why I'm big on sports. I forget the statistics where I think it's 20 or 30% more than somebody who doesn't play sports,
Right.
the success level.
Right.
I'm trying to prepare my sons and also the kids I coach to
Amazing.
to be off the court, be able to survive in the world we're in right now. As you can see, the world is not an easy place, right? So if I can teach some things to help you on the floor, I think it will translate to real life situations.
That's amazing. I love the fact that you have a real true spirit behind how you want to deliver the coaching and the mentorship that you want to put forth. You know, you want to make sure that everybody has a chance to succeed. It's different from coaching like that you probably had growing up and coaching that I've had growing up. Like it seems like everybody's a little bit more well versed about coaching and the professional side of it.
The opportunities there are bound if you start young enough. You can take coaching all the way up to NBA level. We've had some guys that we know that come through from our side and our ends that have reached that level because they've taken it that serious.
So now we're at the turning points. You're starting to realize there's a point in where you yourself changed. You saw the basketball change, and you also saw the programs or the eliteness and the outcomes of what your sons have done.
Yeah.
Now you see the growth of basketball. And through this growth of basketball now, everybody's saying, it's not basketball, it's a business. And the purity of the game is gone. How did everything come together?
Well, two things, success and money. One's Raptors won the championship. One's guys that we coached or kids that we know, RJ, Andrew, Wiggins, AJ, Shea. We can continue to name a bunch of Canadians being successful. Canada basketball being successful. All of those things, success, people want more success, right? And have an understanding, well, if those guys made it, right, I can make it. And then, as you said, as my sons being part of those teams, on some of those younger teams, and being able to coach an RJ Baird, AJ Lawson, and those type of elite level players gives you a different understanding of what the requirements are. RJ made it, I can make it, right? AJ made it, I can make it, right? Andrew made it, you can make it, right? Shea, right? Dylan Brooks, we can name even before that. Tristan and Corey, all these guys are from our areas, right? From where we grew up, our ends, right? So that's a big part of the success, making people think that, well, it's easy, right? It ain't easy. So that's one. Then the next thing is money. As you and I were talking earlier, I'm a volunteer coach. Right? Maybe get some stipend or something like that. I'm also director for the Renters for the Rep Boys, but most of the stuff is volunteer. Now it's a business where you can start a prep school. That can be your profession, being a professional coach at a prep school or having a prep school, right?
Wow.
Even some of the rep teams, the AU teams that travel, you can start that, and that can be your profession. Tournaments can be your profession. You just hosting tournaments, et cetera, et cetera. So when money's involved, different things. Dynamics have changed now. Now, with regards to the purity of the game, if it's your profession, you're going to do whatever it takes to make your money to feed your family. And sometimes those things cross the line. You know how things run, right? So for me, it's the where we are now. I can't fault one man or another man to doing whatever they can to survive and do what they got to do. But if you're really about it, then you're going to be straight up about it. You're going to be transparent. Now, if people aren't transparent, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes you don't really want to be a part of. Right.
Okay.
That's how things have changed now, where it's a business now because of the success we've done and where opportunities are. Even some guys that we know have become agents now.
So how's the integrity of the game kept? Now there's like these NILs and, people are talking about, young athletes being taken from a team to go to another team.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's always been the case.
It's always been the case.
How's the integrity on that side of it? And parents.
Integrity, it's not easy, so because there's not people there that integrity doesn't mean anything. Right. And I'll come back to again. If you're doing something to feed your family, right? You're not worried about integrity. I'm worried about where the money's coming from. Right. So they are organizations, they are coaches that do have that integrity and do things the right way. And their organizations it's about the money. Right. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're about the money, say you're about the money.
Okay.
Now with NIL coming in, it's even more. There's even more money in the game. Right. So all these things come together. There's a fine line now when kids are coming up and expectations of parents.
Right.
Like because of success, I told you, everybody thinks they can make it. We know basketball is a global game. Right. 99% of the kids that are playing now, they're not going to go professional, whether it be league or whether it be Europe. Right. So what's going to be your end game? Right. Have your dreams, push it as far as you can, but have something to fall back on. We have something in Brampton. We try to teach more than just basketball. We try to teach life skills because the environment we're in right now, especially with parents, with the expectations, they think that their 7 or 8 year old kid is going to league. The thing with the society, and it's not just ball, the accountability, right? Where people don't want you to talk to their kids too hard. Okay, but life is hard. I'm straight up to a certain extent, depending on the age level. So holding kids accountable nowadays, it's more difficult. As our parents don't want that. They want everything to be sugar-coated, and that's not me.
So you've gotten into it, like tensions.
There's been some tensions, and we've reached a stage, like I'm not going the back and forth. Right? Like if you don't think that I have the best interests of your son or whatever, or you think he can develop in a better, I'm not going to have that argument, right? Good luck, and we'll see you on the court.
Because I could imagine there's many kids you guys have to deal with, and that comes with the many emotions.
Yeah.
Different parents and all of that stuff. What is Brampton basketball? Let's kind of just explain your role in Brampton basketball. Like
Brampton's been around since the 70s, like 78.
Basketball association.
Yes, I used to play in Brampton, my basketball association. We were at one time the dominant force on the Brampton side with regards to basketball. We've had a house league for, as I said, since 1978, and then we have a rep part, right? Part of the game has grown as a success. Now you have 50 clubs in Brampton.
Is this still under the one Brampton?
No. When I say 50 clubs, not underneath Brampton. Everybody has a branch. Everybody has a branch, and everybody's trying to do their thing. Money comes into it. I can make money if I go on my own and do this. Right. Do what's best for you. But Brampton is still the same thing. It's a volunteer organization. We have the house league. We do a lot in the community, and we're affiliated with the city. We have a board. We have bylaws. We're actually affiliated with the city.
Oh, nice. I like to see the growth of that. That's amazing. You know what I'm noticing? A lot. This has become a profit. So a lot of the basketball associations, when they register their business, they register as a profit.
For profit. Right.
But there's other ways where you go as a nonprofit and become a social enterprise and incorporate a sustainability within your program. Because there's major grants there all the time. There's grants there for sports at the federal level. But besides that, man, this has been amazing. Like, so what advice would you give someone that's trying to come up? They're in their professional career. Now their kids are doing sports. What advice would you give them balancing that professional career, coaching, and then having kids that want to play the sport?
It's about dedication. And it's also buy-in from your family. Because if you do have a family, you want to have a family, your job is going to needs time. Your family needs time. If you want to be really a good coach, you have to put in the time. Prioritizing, balancing that, dedicated, having buy-in from your family. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. But nothing that worthwhile is. Success is not easy. You just got to prioritize and dedicate and research. And biggest thing, you have to have buy-in from your family. They need to be on board. It's a dream to be able to work at a high-level company. Right, to have a family that to a certain extent, quote unquote, is successful, and then also to coach and be success. Those are all dreams to have all three combined and be able to do it and sustain it for such a long time.
Wow, that's amazing, brother. And respect for you saying that, like, you've attained a lot and your family have like stayed the course.
Family over everything.
Oh, I really respect that. And I also respect you coming on here and dropping some gems. We're going to take that, family over everything. Thank you so much, my brother. I really respect you coming out.
That's my, the time. You know how we do.
and dropping the gems.
Slowly.
I'm slowly +1. And thank you for peeping this episode, and I will see you again. Peace.